Have you ever stopped for a moment and wondered what your pet is actually thinking when they're hungry? Not just the physical feeling in their stomach, not just the simple urge to eat, but the way they look at you in that moment. Because if you've ever had both a dog and a cat, you've probably noticed something strange. They can both be equally hungry, equally ready for food, yet the way they react feels like it comes from two completely different worlds. One acts like it's waiting for a miracle, like everything depends on you, like you are the center of its universe. The other just stares at you calmly, silently, as if you've already made a mistake. No begging, no desperation, just expectation. And the strange part is they're feeling the same hunger. There's no biological difference in how empty their stomach is, but their behavior reveals something much deeper. It reveals how they see you, where you stand in their world, and what role you truly play in their life. Let's start with dogs. Imagine a normal morning. You've just woken up. Your eyes are barely open, your body still heavy from sleep, your mind not fully there yet. But somehow, your dog already knows. It doesn't need an alarm clock. It doesn't need sunlight. It just senses that you're awake. And instantly, it's there. Tail wagging, eyes bright, body full of energy that seems impossible for that early hour. But it's not just excitement, it's anticipation. Because your dog isn't just hungry, it's hopeful. Dogs don't see food as just something they need to survive. Over time, they've connected food with you. You are the one who provides it. You are the one who decides when it happens. You are the source. And slowly inside their mind, those ideas merge together. You become more than just a person. You become part of the system that keeps them alive. So when they're hungry, they don't just look for food. They look for you. That's why they follow you around the house, staying close, making sure you don't disappear. That's why they stare at you so intensely, waiting for a signal, any sign that you've noticed. That's why they try to communicate in their own way, through movement, through sound, through presence. And if you don't respond right away, they don't get angry, they don't walk away, they don't give up, they just wait, patiently, faithfully, completely trusting that you will come through. For a dog, hunger is not just a physical state. It's emotional. It's a reminder that they rely on you, that you are the center of their world, and that everything they need somehow comes through you. Now switch to a cat, and everything changes. Same morning, same hunger, same empty stomach, but a completely different reaction. No excitement, no rushing, no overwhelming energy. Your cat might already be awake, sitting somewhere nearby, quietly observing you. When you notice it, it doesn't jump up or run toward you. It doesn't try to impress you or grab your attention in an obvious way. It just looks. Calm, steady, almost unreadable. And if you don't act, if you don't get up, if you don't move toward the food, it will approach, slowly, deliberately, with purpose. It stands in front of you, looks directly at you, and lets out a single meow. But that sound isn't begging. It's not desperate. It's not emotional in the way a dog's behavior is. It's a signal, a reminder, almost like a notification you're supposed to respond to. Because for a cat, hunger is not a situation where it needs to be saved. It's a situation that needs to be corrected. And you are part of that system. Cats don't see you as the source of life in the same emotional sense. They see you as a function, a role, something that exists within their environment to fulfill a purpose. You are the one who provides food. That is your role. And when it's time, you are expected to do it. No drama, no dependency, just expectation. And if you don't respond, the cat doesn't panic, it doesn't collapse into neediness. Instead, it increases pressure. Another stare, another meow, a more direct presence. Not to beg, but to ensure that you understand. In a cat's world, hunger is not a crisis. It's a disruption in order, and you are responsible for restoring that order. From the outside, it's easy to misinterpret these differences. People often say dogs are more loving, more emotional, more attached. And they say cats are cold, distant, independent. But that's not really what's happening. Both animals are expressing trust. They're just doing it in completely different ways. Dogs evolved in packs. Their survival depended on cooperation, on hierarchy, on following a leader. Food wasn't something they controlled individually. It came through group effort, through structure, through trust in the system. Over time, their brains adapted to rely on others for survival. And when humans entered their lives, that role transferred to us. We became the leader, the provider, the one they look to for everything. Cats, on the other hand, evolved as solitary hunters. They didn't rely on a group. They didn't need a hierarchy. They hunted alone, survived alone, made decisions alone. Even when they live with humans, that core instinct doesn't disappear. It adapts, but it stays intact. Cats don't give up control of their world. They simply include you in it. They assign you a role. And when they're hungry, they're not wondering how to get food. They're wondering why the system hasn't worked yet. If you watch closely, you'll realize that both dogs and cats are constantly communicating with you in these moments. Dogs use energy, repetition, and movement. They wag, they follow, they position themselves in your space again and again until you can't ignore them. They're saying, "I'm here, I trust you, I'm waiting." Cats use precision, stillness, and timing. They don't need constant movement. A single look, a single sound, a perfectly timed approach is enough. They're saying, you know what needs to happen. The problem is humans aren't always good at reading either language. We understand the obvious signals from dogs, but we often miss the subtle communication from cats. So we label cats as distant when really they're just efficient. And we label dogs as needy when really they're expressing a depth of trust that's hard to replicate. But here's the part most people never think about. When your pet is hungry, it's not just about them. It's about you. It's a reflection of how you exist in their world. When a dog is hungry, you are its hope. The thing it looks toward, the thing it believes in, the thing it waits for without doubt. When a cat is hungry, you are its standard, the system it relies on, the role it expects to function correctly. One places you above, the other places you exactly where you belong. But both, in their own way, center you. Both assume that you will be there. Not because you have to be, but because in their experience you always are. So the next time your pet asks for food, pause for a second. Don't just see it as a routine task. Don't just think about filling a bowl. Look at the way they look at you. One might be waiting with quiet trust. The other might be demanding with calm certainty. But both are saying the same thing in their own language. In their world, you matter, not as an option, not as something replaceable, but as something constant. And maybe, just maybe, that moment when they're hungry isn't really about food at all. It's about the bond between you and them. A bond that shows itself in the smallest, most ordinary moments, yet carries a meaning deeper than most people ever realize. I prefer this response